All right, guys, welcome back to the Rick Shiels Golf Show podcast, everyone. Episode 265. I'm your host, Rick Shiels, back with regular co-host Guy after his... Oops, I just kicked the radiator. After his a little holiday, a little time away. Did you have a nice time, pal?
I did indeed, and I think I listened to the episode of Sophie, and you've gone from having somebody on who's articulate, very clean-cut, and knows golf and professional golf inside out to me again. So, nice to be back.
But we love it. It's been... a hectic week in the world of golf, and I'm glad you're back because we've got a lot to unpack. I almost don't even know where to start. I think let's start safe and kind of really just go, did you actually have a nice time off? I want to dive into the world of golf, but there's so many topics today.
I had a great week off. I went down to the Cotswolds.
Very
it was
nice.
Lovely. This little kind of terrace cottage in Stow-on-the-Wold, and bizarrely met a lot of people who watched the videos while I was away. On the first morning I got there, so I got there on the Friday, Saturday morning, went out very early with my little girl. I went to get my wife a coffee, as the great father and husband that
Obviously.
I am, and met two people in the space of 10 minutes. This really quiet little town early morning who both watched the videos, which was lovely. Did lots of cool things, had a great week away, but yesterday, Rick, was arguably the best day of the last week. I went to your home and mine, the Lowry Theatre.
Oh, hello.
Where we did our 100th episode of the Rick Shiels Golf Show podcast. It brought back memories.
It feels like a long time ago now, doesn't it? Considering we're up to 265
It was 3 years
episodes.
ago, nearly.
Was it really?
And last time I was there, I was in the green room backstage, sipping on Red Bull, lights, glamour.
Well, they asked you literally what drinks would you like in the
your
fridge?
rider, and I was like, give me some Red Bull, like a king. And this time I went through the normal entrance with the regular folk. However, arguably even more exciting than our 100th episode live podcast, I went to go and watch, drum roll please, Bluey live.
Oh, I'm jealous.
It was phenomenal.
I'm actually jealous.
Absolutely phenomenal. Everything about it was my vibe. Families, nice people, no idiots. Everyone was just nice and opening the door for you. Hi. And if your kid was noisy, everyone got it. Everyone was respectful. My little girl tapped someone on the arm who sat next to us. He was like, oh, don't worry about it. It's fine. It was lovely. 2 cans of Coke Zero I bought at the thingy, put them in the bag, went in, drinking Coke Zero in there. It was great. I really, really enjoyed it. That is now my vibe.
No, I must admit, I'm quite jealous about that. If parents with children of a certain age, you will have watched Bluey, I'm pretty sure. It is, without question, the best kids' TV show ever. And I think we've actually spoke about it on the podcast before.
The ending brought almost a tear to my eye. It had a very serious
I cry almost
message.
every episode.
It's so good. That's the PG stuff out the way, though, Rick. We have got an action-packed podcast, like you said. I'm keen to hear what you've been up to, because I've not been here for over a week. One thing I've got up my sleeve, which I won't reveal just yet, but I have been doing some digging, you know me, and I've found something that looks a little bit fishy, and I don't like to necessarily call people out on this podcast too often. It's a bit of a lie. But I've got something I want to run past you. Something looks very, 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 that was 3 verys, dodgy in the world of golf. And we need to discuss this and hear your opinion and the opinion of the listeners. Because if I've got something here, I could have a major scoop that might rattle the world of golf.
Wow.
There you go.
Wow. I'm probably not on the same scale, but it's not a podcast episode without a bit of beef from me as well. So I've got a bit of beef to throw around as well, which I'm excited about. I like throwing my beef around.
It's back. You got rid of Sophie. It was all clean cut. It was all lovely. And we're now back to it.
Right. Kick things off. How much of the Olympics did you watch?
Olympics, loads. Golf, literally not a shot.
Even the men's?
Nothing.
Wow.
Nothing.
I was blown away with certainly the hype around the men's Olympics. I've got to be honest, I thought the hype around the ladies' Olympics golf was terrible. There was hardly anything at all. Even trying to watch it was very, very challenging here in the UK. Lydia Ko ended up winning, and that means now she has the grand slam of Olympic medals, a bronze, silver and a gold.
Fair dues.
She's also been enlisted into the Hall of Fame, rightly so. But then also, what was very bizarre, there was, as soon as she won, there was some interviews like asking her when she's about to retire. So I don't know if that's kind of an underlying rumour that's been going around, but fair dues to Lydia Ko winning a gold medal for New Zealand. And then our girls, Charlie Hull, didn't exactly set the world alight. I think she had a really bad first round. Before she shot 81 first round. 81, 71, 69, 68. She was getting better. 5 more rounds of golf and she would have won. She would have shot 62 and won it. But yeah, and also there was Charlie Hull and Georgia Hall, and Georgia Hall didn't quite do as good as Charlie Hull. But either way, it was fantastic to watch. I do think there should be more mixed events. We talked about this in last week's podcast with Soph. I feel like there has to be more mixed events in LA next year. I feel like there has to be more kind of disciplines. On the comments from last week's podcast, there was a lot of people in agreement saying that long drive should be in the Olympics, it should be mixed doubles, it should be team elements. And I'm also thinking to myself, and I thought long and hard about this last night, if I time it right and go and move to the most remote country that's in the Olympics possible, do you think there's a chance of me getting on the Olympic golf team?
The B team, the reserves. The reserves for Iceland.
I think if I play my cards right and have a look at which country is not represented in the world of golf, move me, the family, and all of us, naturally, all of us, the whole shebang, we're all moving to somewhere like, I mean, does Jamaica have a golf team? I don't think it does. So why can't I be, you and me, you and me could do it together, become the number one and number two Jamaican golf team.
I have seen something I'm desperate to try and pull up now as we're speaking. I've got it. Because something on your point, there's been YouGov have done a survey, and listen to this, right? 27% of Britons reckon they could qualify for a sport at the 2028 Olympics if they started training today. Okay?
I'm in that category.
So,
what was the percentage?
Apparently 27%.
Yeah, I'm definitely in that 27%.
Apparently, they've gone up to a random, obviously, amount of people. 15% have said that if they started today, they would be able to be in the Olympics in 4 years for air rifle shooting, the 10-metre air rifle shooting. Okay?
Yeah.
10%, this is absolute nonsense though, 10% have said they would get in badminton. No way. Badminton's a tough sport when you get to that good level. I tried badminton
for quite a while.
This is crazy. I'm just kind of picking out random ones. 6%, and this 6% of people are idiots. I'm sorry to say it, idiots. Think they could compete at a 100-metre sprint.
That is ridiculous.
How is it? You grab 100 people in the street, and 6% think that if they started today, they could be in the 100-metre sprint in the Olympics. 5% think golf.
Wow.
But even that, because obviously that's our expertise, quote unquote, if you think about 100 people who've never touched a golf club, 5 of them say that in 4 years they could be competing for their country in the Olympic Games. Now look at how strong the Olympic Games was for golf.
That's wild.
So it just shows that
100-metre one is crazy.
People are deluded.
I remember seeing, there was a clip, I think, if I'm not mistaken, it was a James Corden kind of clip that he did in America, and he had Usain Bolt on, and I think he had 100 normal people, and Usain Bolt literally jogged, and he beat them all by 2 or 3 seconds. You
know what though? Actually, I've had a bit of a change of heart on the Olympics than golf in the Olympics. I wasn't super fussed on it, as I didn't watch any of it, and that wasn't because I wasn't bothered. It was quite hard to come across and to find to watch.
I wish it was on BBC.
Yeah, I saw some highlights. I did see shots, but I didn't kind of see it live as such. I was hoping that Tommy would win, but I was not disappointed with Scotty Scheffler. But something I said to my brother the other day, and he kind of made a good point, that I wasn't that bothered about Olympic golf, and maybe I still wasn't after the Olympics. And one thing he said that really stood out, and it's evidence now, we've obviously had 3 in the modern era. There was 2, there was 1900 and 1904, but obviously there's been, since 2016, it's been in every year now. You look at those list of winners, obviously Justin Rose, who's also a major winner, Xander Schauffele, who's obviously now a 2-time major winner, and Scotty Scheffler, 2 times Masters champion. Those are the guys that have claimed the gold medal. So no disrespect to some of the other people playing in this event, they're all elite golfers. But the fact that you've got 3 world-class elite golfers, and obviously now the world number 1, winning it, I think that does actually amplify it even more, because no disrespect, but if you look at some of the guys who have played and who've also done quite well, if they had have won, would it have somehow made it not seem as valuable?
I was incredibly excited on that Sunday last week, because there was 5 or 6 huge names competing for these medals. And it's like, can't wait to see who wins. Where you're right, maybe if it was a lesser known. I also did, though, in the podcast last week, talk about, I still potentially think the golf maybe should be amateur golf. And I know that's a bizarre thing to say, because it goes against the point that you've just said. But I think if you were really engrossed, as we are doing in the Olympics, I don't know so many of these GB athletes, but when I'm watching them, they have got my 100% support. Like, I don't care who they are, what the name is. If they're wearing GB, they're getting my 100% support. And I think that would be the same in the golf. I just really hope next year, in 4 years, it's such a shame we've got to wait 4 years, in my opinion. But in 4 years, I just hope there is it's more televised, because I thought the televisation of it this year was shocking. And you look at all of those sports that were on telly these last 16 days, like shooting, trampolining, gymnastics, running, athletics, all of these sports that are included, rightly so, in the Olympics, all of their popularity would have soared this last 2 weeks. I don't think golf had that opportunity this week.
It's not, but I think it's almost the fault of golf as well, in a sense, or that it's just the unfortunate nature of golf, because I watched a hell of a lot of it this week being off. It was great putting the TV on at 5 or 6 o'clock knowing there's Olympics
Just
to watch.
the best.
And one of my nieces is 9 and similar age to your daughters. She was watching a lot of it almost without even realising. I could see her at one point playing a little toy and kind of watching the Olympics. And at this point, so much of what we were watching was the end of the swimming and into the track stuff. And you think about it, really, maybe you could take away the 10,000 metres and above, but anything shorter than that, it's so bingeable. You know, you don't have to. You might have watched the heat, so you might not have done. You might watch the semi-final or not. But you put the final on, or even a semi-final. Admittedly, you've got 8 or 9 athletes running for a matter of minutes or seconds in the 100 metre. You obviously, the camera pans on each of them. You see what country they're from. You might pick a favourite because of how they look or how the hairstyle is. They're obviously so much more funky. The athletes, how they dress, and the makeup and the nails and stuff. And then you watch it, it's so quick and it's over. That was so good. Whereas with golf and its very nature, it's 4 days in length. The actual tee times obviously spread out. You've got to, how do you binge on that as a non-golfer? So I think for you, naturally and understandably, as a golfer, and I'm in the same camp, I want it to be easy to watch and to digest. But to be fair, to non-golfers, do they want to watch it? And that's where, to your point, I think you made last week, if there was long drive and you've got 5 big blokes or women in the women's event or whatever who are smashing golf balls as far as they can, it's no different to the javelin or the hammer throw, but with a golf club.
I would love to see long drive
100%,
in the Olympics.
so would
I really, really, really would. I think they've got to consider that for next time, because I see it as being a pathway of people getting into golf. Yeah. I really do. I like to say, this week, the amount of times I've been stupidly, I was watching like the triple jump, and I was in my hallway and I'm like thinking, right, I'm like measuring out 18 meters. I'm going, that's so far. Yeah. Like, how have they done it? And I'm there trying to do like my first jump, and then my second, I'm going, I'm not going to get anywhere near it. But it made me want to try. And I suppose long drive is also one of those things that if you see it on TV, Martin Borgmeier hits it 400 yards, you go, go on then, I'll give that a go, and go to the driving range and whack and go, I can only get 200. It gives you an appreciation, but at least you've given it a go. So yeah, I really do hope it, what's the right word, develops next year. On the point, I just want to, huge congratulations to Aaron Rai for winning his first ever PGA Tour tournament.
Insane.
At the Wyndham Championship. This is the second FedEx event, but Aaron Rai has been knocking at the door for months and years. In fact, it wasn't a FedEx Cup event, was it? Sorry, my bad. That starts next week. Aaron Rai, it was been knocking at the door certainly this last 12 months, and he's now got the job done. He is a PGA Tour winner, albeit right now, as we exactly film this podcast, the tournament isn't over. We'll come to that in a minute. But Aaron Rai, I've actually had the chance to meet him a couple of times. He is a lovely, lovely golfer, a lovely bloke, lovely
golfer as well.
Lovely golfer. He's very unique in many regards. The fact he wears 2 gloves when he plays golf. I think he used to rock the head covers, the iron head covers. I'm not sure if they're still a stable part of his set anymore. He is one of the hardest working golfers in the world. When you look at the footage last night, he was hitting some putts. There is quite literally a black spot in the middle of his putter. The middle of his putter. Sometimes tour pros get that in like the 7 or 8 iron. He had a wear spot that was pitch black in the middle of his putter. He's also coached by pals of mine, Andy and Piers from Me and My Golf. It's great to see Me and My Golf, who one of the very original OG YouTube channels, make coaching content. I've collaborated with them in the years gone by. They were great when I first started making YouTube videos. They reached out to me and said, let's make content together. I spent some great time with those lads, and they've moved now over to LA kind of in the last few years. And Aaron, they've coached Aaron from such a young age, from in kind of Birmingham, Wolverhampton area, and now to see him as a PGA Tour winner with Me and My Golf stamped on his hat and his t-shirt. Andy and Piers, I'm sure, were super, super proud yesterday, and well done to the lads as well. I mean, it's an unbelievable achievement, and it's great for YouTube Golf. We talk about YouTube Golf wanting, getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and the fact we've got now a tour pro who has literally won on tour now, and who was coached by 2 YouTube golf coaches.
It's crazy, and I think the only kind of shame of it is I feel like I want to know more about Aaron Rai, because he's got an interesting story. I said he wears 2 gloves. He's one of the only golfers who wears 2 gloves. He has iron head covers. I think we mentioned the other week in the podcast it's because when he was younger, he wasn't, I don't think he had the luxury of having new golf clubs every 5 minutes like some kind of elite juniors do, so he wanted to keep them well looked after and use iron head covers, and still has them on today to remind him of that. And I think because he's played so much of his golf on the PGA Tour, which is a good thing, I should add, I think as a European you don't feel as connected to him.
Like when Ryder Cup starts getting talked about, he's not a name that comes to my head of being an outside pick potentially.
And I think the way he's playing, that will definitely be the conversation in obviously next year. You look at now, his world ranking is now number 48 in the world. So that's massive. Obviously, being top 50 in the world for these guys is so imperative. It gets him into all the majors. His data golf ranking, which is arguably more accurate on current form, is 30 in the world. So he's obviously playing very, very good golf. He's not as young as maybe I thought. For some reason, he was really young. He's 29 years old, so he's probably in that kind of prime of his career now, where he knows what he's doing. He's playing obviously overseas a lot on the PGA Tour. He's becoming more and more comfortable. He's got that win under his belt now. You genuinely think somebody like him, and I've spoken to people who know him pretty well, very well, he's got this real work ethic, like you've said. I don't know where the ceiling is for him. Like, how can he just continue to win on it? I wouldn't be surprised if he does.
He's had 88 events. He's had top 10 finishes.
Crazy.
It's pretty good, isn't it? 5 top 5s, 1 third place, 1 runner-up, and now a win. Official money ranking, I think this was last year, was just over 6.5 million. He is a proper golfer, and I think with that work ethic, not that golfers, once they get on tour and they win, they kind of slow down, but I think now he's got that win under his belt and his work ethic, he could honestly be tremendous for the next few years, and for the next 10 years.
You look at his form in the majors. So he played 1 major in 2017 and he was cut in the US Open, played none in 18, none in 19 and none in 20. In 2021 he missed the cut of the PGA Championship and came 19th in the Open, which was decent. 2022 he only played 1 event, which was the Open, and missed the cut. And then last year he didn't play any majors. This year, however, he didn't play the Masters, which is understandable, wasn't obviously invited. However, the 3 majors he has played, the PGA, the Open and the US Open, he made the cut in all of them. So he's obviously played 3 majors this year, made 3 cuts, which is obviously a great start. So who knows? It'd be great to see him, battling for a place in the Ryder Cup team, certainly. But I just want to know more about him. I think he'd be someone great to have on a video or on a podcast and learn more about his story, because that's sometimes, for me, I root for players more when I feel like I know a little bit more about them. I think if he could just unlock that, with the fact he's a bit quirky with his 2 gloves, his iron head covers, and his ability, which is obviously ridiculous, I think he'd become a real fan favourite.
I think as well, like, he's so polite. You look at all the interviews that he did after, and he was so well spoken. He's brilliant with fans. It seemed like he's a real popular winner with other tour pros. I looked on Instagram earlier today. The amount of tour pros that have congratulated him, which is rare. You don't get that often these days. Like, if a tour pro wins, you don't often see another, such a tidal wave of other tour pros kind of coming in and congratulating him. You had Billy Horschel, who was playing with him, was quite literally fist pumping him and cheering there's a great clip of Aaron Rai holes this kind of 12-footer on the last for birdie, and in the background you got Billy Horschel like celebrating like a fan. So I think he's a huge fan favourite, and I think that's just because he's a very, very nice guy.
You know what's so funny? I've had an email this morning off Titleist, which goes out to all kind of media about some of their stats from the weekend. And what's really interesting due to sponsorship and legality is the email says Aaron Rye brackets Pro V1 wins Wyndham Championship. So that obviously tells us as a reader of that email that Aaron Rye uses the Pro V1, sponsored to use the Pro V1, and he won the Wyndham Championship. That's great for Titleist and great for Pro V1. The next bullet point, it says something about how many players use the drivers and balls, whatever. The third point then says Wyndham Champ wins with 4 Vokey design wedges. So rather than saying Aaron Rye, he's obviously not sponsored to play the wedges, but chooses to. But they can't leverage his name next to Vokey wedges. So it's just that little bit of like the kind of have to shoehorn it in a different way.
So I think he's sponsored by TaylorMade, if I'm not mistaken.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, he's a TaylorMade player.
Well, there you go. He's obviously using Vokey. There's a lot of guys, isn't there, who are different brands that still throw
There's
Vokeys in the bag.
A lot of guys. Just a quick one as well. Max Greysermann, really unfortunate back 9. He was absolutely running away with it for most of the tournament. Again, not particularly someone I know a great deal of. The highlights and the clips I saw of him yesterday, unbelievable talent. Again, he's 29 years old, yet to win on the PGA Tour. But he was absolutely killing it. He made an eagle on 13 after hitting this lob wedge and pitching it 15 foot past the pin and spinning it right back into the hole for an eagle too. And the very next tee shot, he blocked his drive. It hit a cart path and went out of bounds. And ended up making an 8, a really sloppy 8. He went eagle, quadruple, birdie, double. And he ended up shooting 3 over on the back 9 and losing out by 2. Now, again, I think Aaron Rye potentially would have been right on his heels anyway, but you'd have to think there Max is going to be kind of licking his wounds for a long time after that horrendous back 9. And then the other bizarre story, and I've still not kind of got to the bottom of this, the reason why I said the tournament hasn't finished right now is because there is still a very well-known golfer that has not finished his round of golf.
Yes.
So Matt Kuchar, who was doing really well, to be fair, all tournament, his final round, he was, how many over is he currently? He's 1 over par, okay? He's in tied 12th, okay? Not threatening to win, not threatening to make playoff or cut or anything like that. He elected to hit his tee shot on the last hole. I think he actually hit it while the leading group was actually still on the fairway. He got down there and he decided to, in fact, he pulled his tee shot way left. He decided to mark his ball and not finish the round of golf because it was going dark. There was no hooter that had been blown. There was no real kind of threat on suspension of play. Part of the fact I think he had a conversation with the rules official and said he believed it was too dark to finish. So he has not finished his round of golf.
It's crazy. Why?
Honestly, it's the weirdest story. I don't know enough about it. I wish I did. On the broadcast, they kind of just brushed over it. It's like Matt Kuchar's kind of picked his ball up. He's not finished his round of golf, and he's going to have to go back today. And I don't know if his playing partners are going to have to go back with him. You know, think about the complications of him going back today. I mean, you know what I'd hate? Typically after a big PGA Tour event or any tour event, the following day is quite an exciting day for normal people.
Yep.
And often the golf course is being used by sponsors and sponsors' invites. I've been lucky enough to play like the Monday after the Open before, and obviously famously the Monday after the Masters a couple of years ago. That golf course today will have a full tee sheet with excited golfers going playing, you know, this incredible golf course. Yeah, is that going to be threatened now? Because in theory, Matt Kuchar hasn't finished his round.
Yeah, I don't know enough about this, and my only understanding could be one of two ways. Either he's been absolutely awkward, which I can't understand why he would be, or there's some like deeper political messaging behind it, something to do with him almost protesting and spitting his dummy out that's trying to stand for something. I really don't know. Maybe by the time we release this podcast, it will come to light, or people might let us know. I'm not sure, but it's very odd.
I mean, he's not winning many fans, is he?
No.
You know, famously those years ago when he kind of won, he won ridiculous amounts of money, a few million, and he was using a temporary caddy at the time, and he literally gave the caddy like $5,000 or something silly. He's not doing himself many favours at all. Go on.
Can I come on to my little investigation I've been on?
Jeez, are we getting into that already?
Yeah. Put your seatbelt on. Right, okay. I don't claim to be an expert on many things, Rick, believe it or not. But one thing I would like to think I'm somewhat of a borderline expert, or I've got a decent amount of knowledge on, would be YouTube, and certainly golf with YouTube.
I'll give you that one.
Some people listening might know, some people might not. I've worked for you now for nearly 7 years, believe it or not. And it's been obviously a great journey. We've gained lots of views, lots of subscribers, and we've seen the channel go from one of the biggest to the biggest in terms of number of subscribers on YouTube in the golf space. And during that time, there's been loads of amazing channels launched. Obviously, you've got GM Golf, you've got the boys at Good, you've got Bob Does Sports, the Brian Bros, who were probably doing stuff actually even before you, but have elevated massively. Pete, all your guys at Matt Fryer, etc. There's so many names. I've obviously missed out millions there, but so many people making great stuff, right? And during that time, Grant Horvat, loads, etc. During that time, I have kept an eye on all these different channels and how they're doing and what they're doing and how they're standing out, just because partly it's good for us and for to know, and also it's just an interest, as nerdy as that sounds. And one thing we've always kept an eye on is the subscribers and the views of some of the biggest tours in golf, right? Because it's good to know that we've got more subscribers than the PGA Tour, although they have some great views. They've got some amazing back catalogue of content. But one thing this last week, Rick, stuck out to me. Let me run this by and see what you think. You ready?
Yeah.
So I saw a tweet from the Legends Tour. So the Legends Tour, the EU Legends Tour, is basically the European tour for seniors, essentially. The seniors tour as was. And they tweeted, "We are officially the most subscribed golf tour on YouTube.
Okay.
Subscribe to our YouTube channel if you haven't already to watch a wide range of content from the tour." Okay, so my first thought was, all right, okay, golf YouTube, let's look into this. And they'd also shared a picture of Colin Montgomery with his finger doing a number one, and two guys, I think, who are, one's from the EU Legends Tour and one's, I think, from Stayshore, who sponsor it, I think. I'm not 100% sure. The graphic they shared, okay, had a list of golf tours and next to it, their subscriber count. So we'll start at the bottom. Challenge Tour, 6,000 subscribers.
I mean, does the Challenge Tour exist anymore?
Yeah, it mustn't do. It doesn't do. Oh no, the Challenge Tour. You're thinking of Thingy, the Euro Pro Tour.
Oh yeah, sorry.
Challenge Tour, 6K subscribers. Ladies European Tour, 35K. Okay. PGA Tour Champions. So basically, the cousin, if you like, of the Legends Tour, the rival, the PGA Tour's version, 67K, which feels about right. That's what that tour should have.
Yeah.
Ladies PGA Tour, 219K subscribers.
I mean, you'd argue right now, this is going up in popularity.
Yeah, of course it is.
From the Challenge Tour all the way to currently Ladies PGA Tour.
219,000, which is nothing to be sniffed at.
So the only four tours now, you've got obviously the PGA Tour, DP World Tour, Live Tour, and then the Legends Tour.
Correct. Live Golf, who are obviously well known for, regardless of what you think of Live Golf, are very active on YouTube. 368,000 subscribers, okay? The DP World Tour, who have been an absolute mammoth of creating content, are known as being arguably the best in the world at doing so. 417,000 subscribers, which is, again, an amazing work, and credit to the DP World Tour.
Just on that one, let's have a quick look. So DP World Tour.
And they started creating YouTube content, should I add, in... drum roll, please, if I can find it. Oh, there it is. 2010. So 14 years of grinding, making some amazing content, and some of the most popular videos, by the way. So DP World Tour have had Rory versus the Robot, had 13 million views. They've had When Luke Donald Won a Cow in Japan, 13 million views. Louis Oosthuizen's 500-yard drive, 9.5 million views. Or one more I'll give you. Hilarious Tiger Woods toilet story, 7.6 million views. So, two things to point out here. Well, in fact, three. DP World Tour don't yet have 500,000 subscribers, yet being the keyword. They will do. They've been pumping out content for 14 years and have done 3,500 videos, and some of those videos have got literally multi millions of views, right? So just keep that in mind, Rick, and everyone listening.
And just a quick one, Shorts, who has been introduced more recently, they've some of their biggest ones, again, 4.2 million, 3.5 million. They're also utilising, I think it's worth noting here, a lot of Tiger Woods and Rory McIlroy footage for when obviously Tiger and Rory have played on the DP World Tour. And I would say DP World Tour has been really the leaders in online media content.
That then brings me very nicely into who I would have thought were the biggest tour on YouTube, and it's the PGA Tour. 1.4 million subscribers. Rick, they've posted 20,000 videos on YouTube.
Jeez.
And they've been banging them out since 2006.
2006.
They've had a video, wrestler Goldberg tosses fan into the water, 34 million views. Top 10 animal encounters on the PGA Tour, 16 million views. Top 10 Tiger Woods shots, 14 million views. Now, the big things that these tours have in their locker, in their armoury, is obviously the athlete footage, your Tiger Woods top 10s, etc. And these funny moments. And as you can see here, the three things that stand out. They've posted 20,000 videos. They've had videos that have got the tens of millions of views, and they've been doing it since 2006, okay?
Also, just on shorts, they've had one that's had 36 million views, 22 million views, 18 million views. I mean, monster videos. And for people who know YouTube well, shorts do often bring in a lot of subscribers. So my prediction, if a video had 36 million views on a short,
thousands of subscribers, tens of thousands,
a lot.
Now, bearing in mind, so we've got up to 1.44 million PJ Tours, so you know where this is going to go. But before I said this to you, what would you genuinely have thought the EU Legends Tour, the seniors European Tour, would have had? Bearing in mind that the Champions Tour's got 67k.
I think it would have sat somewhere between the Ladies European Tour at 35,000 and the PGA Tour Championship at 67. So I would have probably said about 50,000 subscribers.
Okay, no. Well, the EU Legends Tour tweeted out this statement, and have also done a website thing that I'll touch on in a second, to announce they have just hit 1.75 million subscribers.
What?
1.75 million subscribers. So, bigger than Good, bigger than Bob Does Sports, bigger than Jim Golf, bigger than Grant Horvath.
They're the second biggest YouTube channel.
The second biggest golf YouTube channel behind you in terms of subscribers, right? I saw this.
We need to be worried.
I saw this and it got me thinking, this can't be right. So I've done a bit of digging, and I've got to caveat this, I might be wrong. I hope I am wrong, because I hate to see people cheating the game. But when I then, I'm going to say it, when I then looked on the Legends Tour channel, so bearing in mind, the PGA Tour, who've got fewer subscribers, have posted 20,000 videos, okay? Legends Tour have only posted, I'll use that lightly, but 962 videos. They've posted a 20th as many as the PGA Tour. The channel also only launched in September of 2020.
So I just want to check something here while you say that.
So the channel is less than 4 years old.
So 1 second. Okay, so Live, just to put in context, Live, which has, did you say 300,000 subscribers, 368,000, set up September 21.
So a year later.
And you'd like to think they've pumped out in that time frame 1.6 thousand videos.
Now, bearing in mind, if everyone thinks back to when I've just gone through the PJ Tour and the DP World Tour's big videos, they've had like 30 million views, or 13 or 10. The biggest video ever on the Legends Tour's channel was the final round highlights, actually from an event last week, so 7 days ago. And that video's had 890,000 views. So nothing to be sniffed at, certainly in a week. But compared to the 30 odd million, it's nothing, is it? Then they've had videos that have got 600,000, 500,000, etc. So nothing in the millions, which for a channel with a subscriber base of over 1.7 million is a bit fishy.
Well, one thing I'd like you to just check very quickly on that top video. I'm seeing it's got 890,000 views.
Yeah.
17,000 likes.
0 comments. Not a single comment.
In 890,000 views.
Very strange.
It's not got one single comment.
None. Might do bad when this goes out. Okay, so then I thought, right, maybe the Legends Tour have got two things. Maybe they've got massive followings on other social media channels that they're sending over, or maybe they've been smashing out the shorts, which, as you said earlier on, get loads and loads of views and subscribers. The biggest viewed short is 200,000 views, and the next biggest viewed short is 100,000 views. So again, nothing to be sniffed at, but nothing crazy, nothing that's going to bring in high subscribers. There are other platforms as well. They've got 127,000 on Facebook, so okay, not bad, fine. 17,500 on Twitter, or X as it now is. 9.3 thousand on Instagram, so smaller followings, but followings that feel like they should align to who they're speaking to. So we know, and no disrespect, the EU Legends Tour is speaking to an older demographic. Of course it is. It's a seniors tour. We know that typically out of all the social platforms, Facebook has the older demographics. That would make perfect sense that 127,000 likers or followers, whatever, will be on Facebook. 17,000 would be on X, which is, again, what that tour should have and feels about right, and again, where that demographic might sit. And then lastly, Instagram, again, typically a younger demographic, a younger audience. They've got 9.3 thousand followers.
I know.
Go on.
They're huge on TikTok, aren't they?
I've not even looked at TikTok.
They must be huge on TikTok.
So all those followers feel about right what the Legends Tour should have. Okay. They've got 4,000 on LinkedIn as well, just for reference. So then, this is where it starts to get even more fishy, Rick. We've got 1.7 million subscribers. The top video is a week old with no comments whatsoever. I then went onto a website called Social Blade, which anybody can access. Now, Social Blade tells you...
We know Social Blade very well.
Yeah, it tells you things about channels, anything. You can search for a name of a YouTube channel, it'll tell you loads of stats. Now, the one thing genuinely, if anyone has a look after this, they might well do, that is completely wrong is revenue. So I'm telling you that now. You might look at Rick's channel, the podcast channel, any other channel, the revenue numbers are way off. Just note that. What it does have very accurately is views and how many subscribers you've gained.
By the way, we're not telling you which way it's off.
Yeah.
We're just saying it's off.
It's massively off, right? When I go onto Social Blade and I look at EU Legends, so anybody listening again, you can go and do it tomorrow or right now. I know the Social Blade just crashed on me. I know the stats though. You can go on and have a look at channels. Rick Shiels, Golf, Good, whoever you want to look at. When you look at the EU Legends Tour, it might be a bit of a funny website if you're not used to it, but when you look at their website, you can see at the bottom how many views they've had and how many subscribers they've gained, etc., etc. And then you can also go on detailed or lifetime, where it gives you a lot more detail about that channel. We can see, it's just crashed on me again.
Cut to the chase, guy. What are you telling us?
Basically, I'm telling you that in September of 2023, so not even a year ago, they had around 60,000 subscribers. They've now got, less than a year later, 1.7 million subscribers. What we can also see is that on the 3rd, the 4th, the 5th and the 6th of August, so this month, they've had days where they've gone up by 30,000 subscribers, 90,000 subscribers, 20,000 subscribers and 30,000 in a day. Now, you might know this, what is our best ever day on YouTube subscribers?
Probably in the region of 5,000 in a day.
We might have had more than that.
Do you think?
We've done giveaways and things. But anyway, we've not had a day anything like some of those.
Let's see if I can find it out.
So
that's wild.
They're having these days where they're gaining huge amounts of subscribers, but the monthly views that they're getting don't align. So in the last month alone, they've had 2.1 million views, but gained 170,000 subscribers. That is not accurate at all. Now, let me choose a reference point as well. So 2 million views.
When we were getting really close to 1 million, we had a day that had 13,000 subs in a day.
Yeah.
That was when we were on a charge to 1 million.
Just to put that into reference there, just pick somebody at random. So you might know James Robinson Golf, who makes YouTube content. Not our James, a different James. In the last 28 days, last 30 days, he's had 1 million views. So he's had half of what they've had. But he's grown by 1,000 subscribers. They've grown by 170,000 subscribers. So something is very off. You can also see as well, they've had certain days throughout the last year where there's been a huge uplift in subscribers.
So what to the general consumer and listener, how is that even possible?
So what I would say, I'm not saying I'm allegedly, I would say that the Legends Tour, obviously themselves, I very much doubt in-house do all their content online. I imagine they obviously pay a company to do it. That company may have KPIs in place. They might get bonuses for when the channels hit certain numbers of subscribers. And it looks like what they've done is gained, I don't know how, lots of subscribers on certain days. So I know there is ways, again, this is not what I'm saying they've done, however, there is ways that you can, I believe, pay and gain subscribers. Not saying they have. Also, on the Legends Tour website, right on the home of the website, they've done an actual big press release all about it. And there's a picture again of Colin Montgomery. And again, it says the Legends Tour has become the #1 golf tour on YouTube, surpassing 1.75 million subscribers. The increase sees the over 50s tour, led by chairman Ryan Howsam, overtake the PGA Tour for top spot. Now, I don't believe that some of this team, and let's be honest, it's middle-aged blokes, would quite understand what's going on here. I can't imagine that they have done this themselves and they've then posted all about it and embarrassed themselves, because they surely must think it's strange that they have overtaken the PGA Tour and Live put together.
In fact, it's quite literally the PGA Tour plus Live still aren't overtaking.
Exactly, and there's another picture as well of Monty again. There's absolutely no way that Colin Montgomery would have any idea as well. And it then says one more bit before I kind of leave this. It says, so far this year there have been more than 4.6 million views on Legends Tour content. Right, so 4.6 million views. Now they have gained more subscribers this year than we have. I think that's fair to say, because we've looked at these numbers. They've gained 4 million views this calendar year. Now, to put that into some level of, and this isn't us trying to flex or to go, but to give it some level of narrative, they've gained 4 million views this calendar year, and gained more subscribers than us. This calendar year, we've gained on YouTube 76 million views. So something's off. We've had about 20 times more views than them, but they've gained more subscribers. And this isn't talking a little bit of a growth and, doing quite well. This is crazy. So there's something not right there with the Legends Tour. And last thing, the reason why I'm talking about it on the podcast is actually, I don't know how they got, well, it's not hard how they got the email, but the Legends Tour actually sent a press release email to our email address, podcast@rickshiels.com. I've got it right in front of me.
What?
The Legends Tour.
Really rubbing it in our face.
For immediate release, Legends Tour is top tour on YouTube. And again, all that same stuff that I've just read out.
They basically give us permission to talk about it.
Well, exactly. We always say to people, genuinely, hand on heart, email us, podcast@rickshiels.com. They've emailed podcast@rickshiels.com, gloating about the fact that their channel is now the most subscribed tour in golf. Well, I'll let them comment back, but something is very, 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 very strange there. Legends Tour.
We look forward to your response, Legends Tour. We sure do.
Sorry for the rant, Rick, but I had to get off my chest.
I think that was very well thought out, and if there's something dodgy going on, we need to call it out, because that is dodgy.
It is.
Dodgy as you like. I was going to come in with my gripe, but I might save that for the old Clubhouse episode. One weird thing to pick up on, I don't know if you saw this yesterday, Graeme McDowell.
I did see this.
Has been not accused, he's been done for drugs.
Well, yeah, he's been suspended from Live Golf for one tournament, and he's been fined 98 grand, which is a lot of money even for these guys. That he'll probably feel, he'd feel that. It's probably like us losing $5. I wouldn't like losing a $5. So apparently he took a decongestant medicine that included a banned substance. So I think he had a bit of a sniffle. He was struggling with congestion and it was affecting his sleep. So he took something that apparently was banned. It was over-the-counter medicine. He thought it was absolutely fine. But he's been banned from Live for an event and fined. It
seems like a bizarre story that's kind of popped out of nowhere. I mean, to some degree, it shows there's obviously policies in place at Live.
Correct.
They're not just allowing anything to go on, which I think some people may think that that's the case. I think they've really had to set an example to Graeme McDowell. If this is the case, if he's actually been tested for anti-doping drugs. So yeah, this is a statement Graeme McDowell posted 15 hours ago. Ahead of Live Nashville, I was struggling with severe congestion that was affecting my sleep. I used an over-the-counter nasal decongestant without realising it contained a substance on the banned list. As a pro golfer, I know it's my responsibility to check all medication, and I could have applied for a TUE, therapeutic use exemption. Yeah. I did not think of this, and I regret this oversight. I accept the sanctions imposed by Live. I'll kind of paraphrase a little bit. I'm proud of my 22-year career and how I've conducted myself. I'm ready to move past this. We'll go back on the course with my teammates. See you at Live Chicago.
And you know what? I think if that is the case, I'm sure it is, then fair dues. You can feel it. I understand why you might feel a bit annoyed if you're Graeme McDowell. And I think it's a weird one with like drugs in sport where it has to be black or white, but there's going to be an area of grey in terms of your own personal like feelings towards it. So, for example, it's either you've got a banned substance in your system or you've not. Therefore, you're going to get fined or banned or you're not. But obviously, it's one thing taking that than taking anabolic steroids to try and improve performance. But I suppose they have to just have a blanket kind of fine or whatever. I don't know how it looks, but like you said, my first thought was, it's good to see that Liv, who I've had criticism as being more of an exhibition and not being super serious, doing this. Would they have done it if it was a Bryson or a Koepka who is going to pull in big crowds at events? I don't know. Again, you'd like to think it would be a clear for everybody.
How does it happen, drug testing, though? Because these players aren't getting drug tested all the time.
I think they just do random P tests, I think, where it might be like so either random in terms of the random events or random players, or I think obviously it has to be random, otherwise they could kind of work around it. But I'm not saying, again, it's kind of speculation, but obviously Graeme McDowell, is he going to, calling it as it is he going to affect ticket sales to the next event? Probably not. Would it affect ticket sales if Bryson wasn't there?
Big time.
Yeah.
It'd be a bigger story if Bryson...
It'd be a massive bigger story. Now, that's not me. That's not me saying that they wouldn't. I've no idea. I'd like to think they would treat everybody fairly. But who knows?
Yeah, that's a bizarre one. And then I'm going to come on to my beef in a little bit.
In this podcast, the next.
Let's go Clubhouse.
Okay.
Straight after this podcast, we got a hell of a busy week this week. We are driving up to Scotland, and I'm excited to play and film at Trump Turnberry. And you're playing with me.
I am.
I think my prediction, and I don't want to call it too early. They've had thunderstorms up there this morning.
Nice.
The weather massively improves this afternoon.
Nice.
Okay. I don't want to say anything too early. I think it might be the best course you've ever played.
Wow.
Because what's your number one at the moment?
This is difficult, isn't it? I think I'm going to go with North Berwick. I think just for everything it offers, it's just phenomenal.
I think it's North Berwick. You know what? North Berwick does have a soft spot in my heart, but because of the history and the kind of fun quirkiness to it, this is... That's a good description. I mean, I'd never played Turnberry originally. It's spectacular.
Yeah.
I think you're going to absolutely love it. And also tonight, me and the boys and you, we're going to have a little bit of fun on the little pitch and putt course outside the hotel, the little wee course, I think they call it.
What kind of fun?
Knifing wedges and chunking shots.
Oh, okay, nice. Well, do you think, obviously people are going to have opinions on it because of the Trump name, regardless of which way you sit. Do you think if it had just been called, if it had kept it just been called Turnberry, it wouldn't have had as much flack? I
think so.
Yeah.
I think it would have still been on, I mean, it's still technically on the open rotor, but I actually think it would have been selected for an open golf, venue recently.
I think, yeah, you, everybody that's played it, obviously I haven't yet. By the time people listen to this, hopefully I have. Hopefully nothing's happened on the way. I've not crashed and died. I don't know where that came from.
I think if you did, I don't think we'd be releasing this podcast, mate. this comes out the day after.
I just said that. I thought, what the heck? I think everyone I know who's played it. I meant to say hopefully I will if the weather's good or something, but it came out weird. Everybody says it is absolutely up there. It's number 2 in Scotland behind the old course. But again, that's up for debate. I think the old course gets bumped up quite a lot because of it. The fact that it is the old course. Top 100, which is a website I've mentioned before, I love it. They've got it as 10 worldwide. So when you're 10 in the world, you are a serious golf course. Very, very excited to see.
Top 100 courses, is that the list you go with?
Yeah, I always do. They've got number 1, they've got Cypress Point, number 2, Pine Valley, 3, County Down. You've obviously played County Down and Trump. Turnberry. I'm guessing you're saying that County Down is above Turnberry.
It is.
Would you say Turnberry is above St Andrews?
Yes.
Interesting.
But then I would say Augusta is above them still. I think my current list goes Royal County Down, Augusta, Turnberry.
I would love to, and this is a silly thing to say because every course has its history and has its heritage, and that's what makes it what it is, i.e. the old course. But I'd love to know if Augusta wasn't Augusta, if it would still be there.
I don't know if it would.
But that is what it is, isn't it? So it's like that. That's like the old course. If the old course wasn't the oldest golf course and didn't have all the history,
if the old course wasn't the old course, it wouldn't be number whatever. What ranked is it on this list?
Like 5 or something.
No,
7.
7.
I sometimes struggle though with
this. Feels very US biased.
I don't know. You've got quite a lot of UK ones. You've got Count Me Down in 3, UK Northern Ireland. You've got Andrews 7.
Yeah.
Turnberry, Muirfield, Dornoch, Portrush.
Okay, it's balanced enough. Great, right. Let's get into the podcast episode because I've got some.
I'm very excited for
beef.
this.
No, honestly,
I think I might know what it is, but I don't want to say in case it's not.
It's beef, but it's not.
Okay,
but it is beef.
Beef jerky, a little bag of beef jerk.
We'll see you all in the Clubhouse episode coming soon. Friday, by the way. Bye.